the news of the week. So the news for sorry, I'll start again. The news for the third week of January 2023 is Gameloft still haven't released anything official, so nothing official to report. However, there have been two interesting tweets this week indicating what the third update may contain. So the first tweet was one about storage, and the interesting thing there, they didn't actually give you an option to select no. They basically asked, would you want expanded storage? And all the answers were yes. So strongly hinting that we're going to get storage in the next update. And the second update, or second tweet, which is a little bit more cryptic, someone was asking about levels, and they indicate weight with an emoji, kind of hinting towards that we might have an increase in both the overall level and companion levels. So that's the official news. That there's nothing official, but we're strongly indicating that next update we're going to get house skins, storage, and possibly levels. So that's the brief summary of the news. And now we're going to go into it a little bit further and kind of break it down a little bit more. So if we're going to switch over to Twitter really quick. Alright, so the first interesting tweet is this one here. So Dreamlight Valley posted on the 19th, which in my time zone was yesterday, this time, or about 24 hours ago. They said, we were wondering, would you like us to add expanded storage management in the upcoming update? Now, storage management's an interesting word. They could have just said storage, but they said management. So that could be a way of seeing your overall items that are in your storage, like some kind of breakdown. You could say, if you look in the collections, it could just tell you how many you've got. Or it could be expanding how much storage you can have, because initially, basically, there's two storage I wouldn't say things in the game, but there's two storage systems in the game. So if we go back over to Dreamlight really quick, so you've got this kind of universal storage. It's the one you start in the game with. And if you open here, I've got all these flowers in here, but when you first start the game, this is limited to I believe only 2 or 3 rows. And then you pay money or coins in the game to expand that. And that's a universal storage. You can place this box anywhere, and the same items will be in it. So you place something like here, it will show up in a different biome, right? And then you've got the normal chests, which we'll quickly dart over. You've got these storages, which are only limited to the first 2 rows. Now, a lot of people, when it was first announced that when you expand your storage, it expands this as well, but that didn't end up being true. So a lot of people speculated that's going to be added in the later feature, but that's also why so many people have so many chests, is because it's very limited what you can put in each one. So a lot of people have suspected this will expand, but you would think if they were going to expand it, they would already, because it doesn't seem like a very complex thing to do. But we don't do we don't do game development, so we don't know. Yep. So that could be what's coming up in update 3, whether it's expanded storage or whether it's just being able to know what you've got. Who knows? A few comments on there is improvement ideas. Let's let people organize inventory. Add an auto sort button. How would that work? Well, you click it and it kind of puts flowers first, put gems second, stuff like that. The way I kind of manually move it, yeah, maybe. Hi Dreamlight, bugs. People always complain about bugs on any tweet with Dreamlight Valley. Not really sticking to the topic, but that's Twitter for you. And we'll go third, and we'll do the top 3. So I had a question really. If I time travel in Animal Crossing, I set my time back. Why is Dreamlight Valley glitching out? Because it uses the time on your computer. So if you change it on your computer and then boot up Animal Crossing or Dreamlight Valley, it will time travel. And that's why Disney Dreamlight Valley team don't time skip, because it does mess up your game. A lot of people say it's fine, just do it, but the developers aren't planning on anyone time skipping. So if you time skip and they introduce something new, it mess up your game. So I always recommend don't do it, because developers aren't kind of programmed to that, and it breaks your game, corrupts your file with an update or anything. It's not really their fault, because you're not supposed to be doing it. That's why they don't introduce a feature and expect people not to use it, or expect people not expected to break a game. But anyway, that's a bit of a rant. The second tweet, which is more interesting. I mean, they did other tweets, just little ones like, you know, you can post your memories on a frame, which I haven't done yet, and all that fun jazz. And they also, you know, some people looked at this tweet here, and translated it to be, oh, this is when the next update, the 28th, which I think actually the next update is going to be the 8th of the 2nd, because they're in Canada and you put a line through it. But to be honest, that's not credible at all. It's just a random thing with a number on it. So I'm not overthinking that, but there's been a lot of news. I think it's because Dreamlight Valley doesn't have a lot of news, so there's a lot of clickbait that goes on. They have to produce something because, you know, people are coming to their channel for that. And that seems like a bit of a stretch. But if we find the last tweet, so yeah, there's this interesting tweet. Any chance of an update where we can time travel in another game? It doesn't affect Dreamlight Valley. Well, it can't, because it runs off your clock. So, you know, it doesn't know you time traveled in a different game. It says, hi, we're currently in early access. We're not be pricing as clicked exactly, as it's not intended for a gameplay experience. Yeah, don't do it, because they're not programming towards it. Because it was very different. It wasn't a generic response. It was a very unique one. Come on. I need to find it. I've gone this far. I need to find it. Anyway, I'll pop it up on screen when I'm doing the editing, but it was definitely there. Anyway, it made people go crazy. And that's it. That's the news of the week. I know it just kind of died down, but I'll pop it on the screen here in the edit. But yeah, definitely happened. So there's the hints, and nothing more dramatic other than that. That was a very lackluster news. You should really prep yourself, Dave. You should really get your crap together. I'm going to give you a bit of a tip block if you ever get into this game. I'm going to show you the best meal of the game. Let me get prepared here. Be prepared. Ah, look at that. Look what I did. Be prepared and whatever. Alright, so I show you. I'm going to look, okay. I'm going to show you the best meal in the game. Now, I'm going to show you the workings of this as well. So give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to bring up something just to show my workings. So this is the Dreamlight. There's actually 2 Dreamlight Valley wikis. And if you notice over here, this is the energy for all the meals in the game. Now, if you look over in ingredients, you have to use these ingredients to get that particular item. So you'll think that this is the best meal in the game, but it's not. So the maximum energy you can hold is 5,000, and that's you get a full blue bar and then a full gold bar. It's like double energy, and then if you get gold bar, you run a bit faster. Now, if you look across here, you see a lancelet fish, patella. I can't say the word, whatever. And that's only 4,550. But if you notice on here, on the ingredients, you see it says lance fish, shrimp, tomato, and rice. You can't change those, but it says any seafood, which technically you can change. So what you do, and we'll go back to Dreamlight Valley here. If you make the regular lance fish one, you autofill it. So that will just give you all of that. Start cooking. Cool. And then accidentally complete that. And then if you look here, that gives you that much. So 4,550. But if you do it again, you don't really need to do it again. You do it this way. And then you just take out that, because that's the one you can supplement, and then use a lobster instead. There you go. You still get a Lancefish patella. And then if you look, that's 5,000. And that's the best meal in the game. So if you watch my energy level, so I'll quickly switch. So notice where my energy is now. If I eat a 5,000 one, you've got a full energy bar. And that's why it's the best meal in the game. If you do this one, it gives you slightly less at the end. And yeah, that's the best meal of the game. In the game. Best meal in the game. I can't use words. And I think that's what gravitates towards it. Like, ooh, what was that? Sworn enemy. Wow, sworn enemy number 1. Well, that's a new everyone, quick, a new person. Let's not do anything embarrassing like we always do. All right. We always mess this up. We get a newbie, and then no, Dark, no, stop, Dark. You got to stop talking about arson every time a new person comes along. I get the appeal. I get that you like fire. Yes, everyone act cool. There's a newbie. Well, hi, sworn enemy number 1. If you don't want to talk, that's absolutely fine. We have a habit of not getting a lot of new faces in here, so we freak out a little bit. Oh, it's quite dark. You know, eventually someone's going to come in, so we're going to be very sensitive to either arson or your baby talk. The potions. So, this is the easiest way to say it, the potions. So, you've got one for fishing, growing crops, mining, and shoveling. So, you know how when you get the shovel... Whoa, get the shovel, Dave. Get the shovel, and you dig. Okay, that didn't work there. Let's make something come out. Stop. Game. There we go. So, so you know how it pops one out. If you take the potion, it will make several come out. How about we'll do one. We'll do one for you, just to show you. Flock, I'll show you what the potion does. Because I need sand. Because I worked out the other day, in order for me to achieve my goal, I need 20,000 sand. Now, as you saw, one came out. Now, I'm going to make the most of this, so you don't feel too bad, because I need to do this anyway, because as I said, I need 20,000 sand. But let's make the most of it here. I need a digging companion. So what the companions do is they give you a high... they actually give you an extra good, or like extra, thing, if you got them around. So if you notice, there's a hangout bonus. So digging, farming, fishing, all that stuff. So the higher the level they are, because they're levels, all the companions have levels as well. The higher the level, the more of a hangout bonus they give you. So they've got a higher chance of giving you an extra resource. So we'll get Scar for the sake of this example. He's over. So, alright, so yep. So if you notice, here we go. Yep, he gives you one item there. So, if you got a level 10 companion and you dig, there you go. You got 2 for the price of 1, whatever. Now, if you use the potion, and we'll use that, not only does your shovel get all shiny, watch what you do. So you got 12 uses of it. So here we go. There you go. And then you got all these resources. And you got a really nice... There you go. There you go. And so that's why the potions are good. So pretty much saves you time. It is very expensive to make, but it saves you time. We live in a world that everyone doesn't want someone to be special, or more special than them. And I think you get two types of people: ones that can handle that, and ones that it can't. And the ones that can't typically shit on the ones that are. Because I never see this is not the best outlook, but this is how I see it. I don't see anyone being disabled or that as a disadvantage. I see it as an opportunity to look at a person who was dealt a bad hand and see how they can make the best out of their life. Because if we manage to achieve that, it means the next person that has something similar, we know how they can get the best out of their life. So I had, and this is the reason why I believe that when I was a kid, not a kid, when growing up, I had a friend called Luke, and he had a disease called muscular dystrophy. And if you know anything about that disease, if you're born with it, you don't really tend to have a long life, sadly. But he had a good life. He was a very, very like the memories I have is that he was always happy. He was always joyful. Looking back and you don't realize you were running around with this kid when you were 5. When you were 7, he was on crutches and you're just walking around with him. And then when you hit 10, he's in a wheelchair and you don't realize what was happening. But I can honestly say that kid had a really good life. And when he passed away, I got his comic books. I still have them today. They were the first comic books I ever collected, and ended up my collection's now like 4 crates full now. But it also shows that some people are dealt a bad hand, but it doesn't mean you can't do everything in your power to help make their life great. And that's what his parents did. Even though that, muscular dystrophy is essentially, you get muscular dystrophy, you automatically, got a time limit. The time limit's very, if you want to get all deep, everyone's got a time limit, blah, 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 but, he had a shorter one. And they really made him happy. Sadly, his mother passed away just recently. I went to his funeral and met his big brother, Scott. I hadn't seen him since Luke died many years ago. And he was very happy to see me, and he was, because I grew up with him, I kind of reminded him of how Luke would have been as well, and he's talked to him and pulled out with him, and he's very happy that I was happy, and it was a weird moment. This guy I haven't seen for ages, saw me as a kind of a representation of how old his brother would have been, and weirdly, put a smile on his face. So. My parents always told me someone has the worst off, then you just be happy with what you got. I don't think anyone has anything worse off than anyone else. I think everyone's just dealt with different complications. I mean, that's not true, is it, Dave? I mean, there are a lot of places around the world that are still got a lot of suppression of rights and suppression of a lot of things you can do, just based off how they were born, like gender or race or ethnicity. Race and ethnicity is pretty much the same thing, right? There's slight variations of arguments, whatever. But yeah, I think, I hope we get to a point where everyone doesn't see a disability as that word, disabled, or inability of doing something. I hope everyone eventually, if someone's got a condition, it's just a compromise that they have to deal with. Until the world adapts to that kind of thing, it's gonna struggle. I mean, obviously there's some things that, you can't do. I mean, yeah, there's a limit to it as well. I mean, you can't. Well, what's a good example? I mean, you can't let a blind person fly a plane. I mean, maybe one day if they're able to ever have your brain plugged into a computer and that allows you to simulate something in your brain or something like that. But obviously, there's going to be some exceptions just based off the ability. But I never want. I never. Let's just say we don't want to restrict someone that shouldn't be restricting from doing something just because of a disability or an issue they have. Because it could turn out that they end up being a bloody genius. Look at Stephen Hawking. I mean, if he ended up the way he was and no one ever gave him a chance because of how he was. I mean, to be fair, he was pretty smart before, but yeah, just saying. Everyone has their place. It's just a matter of given the opportunity, you finding it. God, today's a very deep one, isn't it? Today's a very deep and meaningful stream, everybody. Let's just be grateful that not a lot of people are here. Listen to my rambling. I've decided I'm gonna do my rant and news of the day tomorrow morning stream. I don't think my rant of the day, if I did it today, is just gonna be as meaningful as I want it to be.
A few moments later.
Yeah, I mean, we still have DVD rental places around here. We're very slow. We're still doing it, but I think they were talking about putting it finally. Yeah, I think that is true. I think that we're still doing it. I mean, it's a good idea. I think the problem Netflix has at the moment is they don't see the benefit in investing in their shows, and I think they're falling into the blockbuster trap. They aren't trying things new. They're not taking gambles. They're not taking risks, and that's why they're losing. Because I mean, there's so many great shows they put on and only last for a couple of seasons, and then they go around saying, "Oh, yeah, the most watched TV series is like The Office or whatever." And it's like, yeah, it's because they got multiple seasons. They gave them enough seasons to make it work. I mean, if you looked at The Office and just took the first 2 seasons, not that great. So they need to invest in their catalog, but instead they go, all right, new show, cool. It brought some people. Well, okay, that was relatively successful. We'll do a second season. I didn't bring any people. We'll just cancel the show now. It's like, yeah, that's gonna work because I mean, some people take a while to find a show. I mean, I didn't watch The Office until after it finished. Rant. I don't know. I don't think it's rantable though. It's obvious. Like, I don't understand Netflix. They are behind the ball now, and they were in front of it, and they're behind the ball because all the legacy shows went to those streaming services, and the other streaming services are investing in their content. Netflix goes, alright, we need more people to join. We're going to make this cool show and bring people in. Alright, first season, yay, we brought people in. Alright, it was alright, it was mostly successful and some critics liked it and stuff, so how about we'll give you a second season. Oh, second season came out, oh, it didn't bring so many people in. Yeah, because they were already brought in with the first season, mate. Anyway. But anyway, they were, oh, I didn't bring enough people in. We might as well cancel it. You'd be like, no, if you do 7 seasons of this particular good show, and that's part of your catalog forever. How many shows? I mean, right now my girlfriend is going through watching Friends again. I mean, she's watching Friends again. Didn't come out recently. It's in the catalog forever. Oh, it's just they are missing the point of multiple season shows. And yes, it may cost you money. Agreed. It doesn't bring you in so much money, and that's not always a good thing. Yep. But if you do 5, 6, 7 seasons of a show, people are going to come back to it. People are going to discover it in a few years and come back to it. I mean, they always complain about all these legacy shows just being so popular, but they're not willing to build a legacy show of their own. They're not willing to have a show that sticks around a bit longer. Maybe it's not. I mean, look at Parks and Rec. That was always on the verge of cancellation, but now it's renowned as one of the best TV shows out there. They just need to invest in the damn property. And they've got so many unique IPs now that they own that they're not utilizing, and then they're losing because they're selling it off to other streaming services. Like, there was a conversation, I think a week or two ago about Wednesday moving to a different streaming service. And it's like, and then that they announced the second season. I bet you they'll cancel Wednesday after the second season, and another streaming service will be like, yeah, screw that, we'll just pick it up again, and that will run for like another couple of damn seasons. I hate that Netflix will release... Okay, I'm going to make this the rant of the week. Fine. I'm probably not going to have the energy tomorrow to do it, so there you go. That's your rant of the week of me going off in Netflix. I hate that Netflix will release like an anime or a show that's been finished, but they only give you half... Yeah. I think that's another thing. Netflix is hugely behind the ball. Hugely behind the ball, because they are going... We're going to stick to this model that, for the record, isn't working. We're going to stick to this model of just dropping the whole season. They should have realized during the Marvel shows of Daredevil and Luke Cage and Iron Fist that wasn't working. It's showing now that weekly schedule builds hype. Look at The Last of Us right now. People love The Last of Us. If you dropped that entire season on like a couple of days ago, people would stop talking about it by this point. So Netflix is, but I get why they originally did it. Awesome concept. People have moved on. People want to talk about a show. People want to digest it over a period of time. Binge watching only really works if you're trying to catch up or trying to just casually watch something. When something's new, fresh, you want to talk about it, you want to sink your teeth into it. And for some reason, Netflix goes, alright, so we're behind the ball. This sucks. Alright. We keep on cancelling shows. We shouldn't do that because people are just getting over shows. What should we do to help build anticipation to our properties and like just keep people around and watching all the time? And there's the one guy in the back who's like, shouldn't we do what everyone else is doing and release it weekly so we can, have that water cooler kind of talk and stuff? And the executive's going, no. And everyone's like, why? It's like, because that's what we do. We're Netflix. And it's like, welcome to Blockbuster. I mean, that's exactly what Blockbuster did. They saw a new thing, a new way of doing things. They rejected it, said no, and went bust. Because the new way worked. Now, do I think Netflix will go bust? No, not immediately. But unless they do something dramatic and change and make people want to stay subscribed to Netflix, they subscribe to Netflix at the moment just because they are. That's just the thing they've done over the past couple of years. But when they're like dropping shows like that, and people are just going to get into a habit of like, the show drops, you watch it, cancel it. It's effing stupid. Now, I don't always agree with the weekly model. I think the weekly model works if it's a show worth talking about. Like, Marvel shows can be hit and miss of the quality and what's to talk about. I mean, you probably could say She-Hulk, you probably could have dropped 2 at a time and you would have been fine. Probably even Moon Knight, but there wasn't a lot of Moon Knight shows. Oh, not shows, but episodes anyway. But comedies maybe, but see what I'm worried about. I love the 70s show, right? And that comes out I think today or tomorrow. I'm not sure. The 90s show, the sequel. And they're only doing like 10 episodes. this is what's probably going to happen. They're going to drop it, and maybe the first couple episodes aren't great, and everyone's just not going to watch it anymore. But if you release it over a period of time, build that hype, build those jokes. I mean, you could have a really stellar episode, say episode 3. So let's say the season comes out, 1 and 2, they kind of fall flat. 3 is good, and because you're on a weekly strategy, 3 gets out there, and everyone's like, oh, actually, episode 3 is really good. Brings people back, 4th episode gets more. But if you release it all at once, people want to watch the first 2 and just give up. Yeah, like for animes, people just go to Crunchyroll since it's all full seasons, mainly because no one will go there. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't personally watch a lot of anime. I mean, I'm a Dragon Ball Z fan and all that fun stuff. And I think that the worst thing Dragon Ball Z is probably, or Dragon Ball, I should say Dragon Ball Super or whatever. I think the worst thing they're doing at the moment is not learning from their lessons and just doing other stories other than, oh, Goku Vegeta. Come on. The world's bigger than this. There you go. And I think that's my rant. Netflix is doomed unless they realize that they are behind and need to work harder. And they're not going, obviously they're not going to hear this, but if Netflix doesn't change their ways now, they're going to fall into the exact same trap Blockbuster did. And they're in that hole at the moment. I think it might be too late already. I think it's not too late. The difference here is they own a lot of unique IPs. That's different from Blockbuster. Blockbuster didn't own their own content. And I think that value is quite high. Value is actually quite high. There's a lot of good things they own. And they could utilize that a lot more. There's a lot of shows they can still bring back. I mean, Squid Game, big one. That's still there. A lot of shows they've cancelled recently that they can actually bring back. They just need to start investing in those shows. Yes, it will cost them money. It does cost them money. But if you get a good back catalogue, 5 seasons of a show that you've made, and it's still rated a good show, people are going to come back to it. And merchandise is a big one as well. You add in that merchandise component, that stuff adds up. They don't see the value in it, which is sad, because they're going to crash. They're going to lose by the big guns. And the big guns have already caught on. The big guns have, you look at Apple Plus, the fact that they release a lot of the episodes week to week, and that builds hype. Ted Lasso definitely wouldn't have been as popular. Anyway, yeah, Ted Lasso wouldn't have taken off the way it is if it was all dropped at once. It definitely benefited from week after week people talking about it and building hype after hype after hype. And the fact that at this point in the game, they still haven't clicked that is working for everybody else. And it worked for Stranger Things. They actually tried it with Stranger Things. They had that gap. And it was massive. And it ended up breaking so many records. But even after that, they're still going, we're just going to drop everything. Because we're Netflix. That's what we do. It's like, dude, no. If it doesn't work, you're allowed to change it. I think week to week will help you realize if a show's working or not. Or at least get more people on board for the next damn thing. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Can you imagine running a company and other people? You create this brand new thing. Let's say hypothetically, you create this brand new thing. But you imagine you create this brand new thing, and you are the only one that has it. Then all of a sudden, other people are doing it, but they're doing it slightly better than you. So you're looking at those other people doing it slightly better, realizing you could actually do that for your thing, but you won't, because you were there first. You've done it a certain way and you're never going to change. Now, when one person in the industry has a newer competitor come along and does it better, you either adapt or you die. And this example can be held with so many different industries. Take the taxi industry. Uber did it better. Taxis were doing it for so long, had this huge monopoly on it. Uber came along and said, we're going to do it better because you're not really hitting the mark in a lot of areas. So we're going to do it better. Now, instead of taxi services going, alright, fair, they're actually doing something that makes it easier and better, they fought it. They tried their damned hardest to stop that innovation and to stop Ubers. Like, even to a point where at, like, airports, they, like, were paying higher premiums to get at the front or trying to push ahead of all the Ubers. So instead of adapting to what they were doing, they fought it. And you know who won? Wasn't the taxis. Now a lot of those taxi drivers are just moving over to Uber. There's more money. Now, Uber's kind of slipping now because they pretty much treated their drivers like crap. But then now another competitor's come along and done it better. Well, slowly doing it better. There's other competitors coming along and going, that's kind of a dick move you're doing, Uber. We're going to do it this way. Now, Uber's not changing. Still treating their people like crap. Who's going to win here? Uber's not going to. Unless they adapt to it, unless they change it. I mean, that particular scenario is a little bit different because employment laws around the world are a little bit different. Like in New Zealand, Uber drivers and other countries, so it's a bit. But you get what I'm saying. If you don't adapt, and that's why Disney stuck around for so long, because they saw other people doing it better and then they adapted to it. If you don't adapt to it, if you have to be modest and go, look, I'm not doing it the best, let me just do it a different way, you're going to die. And that's why Netflix is going to die unless they realize people don't want the content this way, and content is what you provide. It's that simple. And say it like a robot like that. And it's bloody ridiculous. Wow, you got me to do a rant and I didn't even want to do a rant. Mogo, Dark, you bring out the rant to me. You bring out the rant to me. You bring the rant to me. I'm sorry, Netflix. It is. It is. But the thing is, it doesn't need to be. I want, like, in all honesty, and I think this is what everyone should feel. If you care about streaming whatsoever, you should not want Netflix to die. And we should be doing everything in our power not to let Netflix die. Now, can you guess why I would say that? I'll let you two think about it. Like, why would you think keeping Netflix around is actually very important? It's because it's independent. You got Disney Plus owned by Disney. You got Paramount Plus owned by all those cable companies. You've got Apple Plus owned by Apple. God, what other big ones have we got? You've got you got Peacock owned by a TV show. Amazon owned by Amazon. Netflix is a purely for Netflix. Netflix is just Netflix. I mean, Prime Video is owned by Amazon, which is another thing. They've got other things that they'll push, other things they can fall back on. If that platform dies, they don't care. Netflix is independent, and that's their thing. That's something they should really hold on to and really get into the indie scene. Like, they have a perfect opportunity to, like, Disney is always going to go, like, we need something Disney, you know, it has to be family friendly. It can't be too risque or anything like that. Prime has this idea of trying to be epic and bring things in and throws money at the wall. But, I mean, great indie films don't come from high budgets. I mean, look at What's that new movie? The Whale. It wasn't a high budget movie. It's a low budget movie. Now, if it was Amazon doing it, they'll throw a fuckload of money at it. I shouldn't swear on it because you get flagged because of the freaking protocols. But yeah, Amazon will throw money at it. Apple will throw money at it. You won't. The best filmmaking comes from stretching yourself or pushing your budget as far as you can, and the restrictions you have that are I just think Netflix is really missing a trick, and if they die, I think it's going to be really hard to get interesting, unique, new stories on the other platforms. I mean, all the big shows that you look around are all based off some other property. You got Lord of the Rings on Prime, you know, Disney, pretty much all the series aren't original. They all come from something like Marvel, you know, Mighty Ducks or something like that. Apple is doing unique things. I think Apple's the only exception, I would say, that they're not really taking established properties. So that's some shiny, but it's Apple. Like, you can't really trust Apple. You can't. Like, I should disassociate, you know, the streaming service from Apple. I mean, but I don't know. I have trouble thinking that Apple has the best interest in heart when it comes to quality. Like, they kicked up a huge fuss about the, you know, not being able to, you know, with the cell phone charge. I mean, they deliberately made the cell phone chargers unique to their own brand just so they could sell them. I mean, that's what makes me suspicious about Apple Plus is like, yeah, alright, so you need content, you're getting all those IPs, what's the catch? Kind of deal. At least with Netflix, you know it's not the catch, they're just incompetent. At the moment, anyway. They're a little bit incompetent. This rant's going on for a while, so I don't know how I'm going to chop this up. Yeah. I don't know if I will. I'll probably just put like a portion of it on it. I mean, who watches the clip show anyway? Well, based off my metrics, I bet about 2 or 3 people watch it every week, so I like doing it anyway. Netflix, the next blockbuster. That's how I'm going to end it on the clip show. I'm going to end it with that line. Sit down. Thanks all for a great week again. Once again. Thanks newcomers like Flock. And thanks to everyone that's popped along, even just briefly for one stream. It's awesome to see. And we're getting more and more regulars, which is cool. And so less pressure on the other regulars of keeping me company. So it's been really great to see. Yeah, we'll be back at it next week. We're hoping to have news of a new update. So hopefully next week may be my last or second to last week of grinding for materials, getting ready for it. It's probably going to be a big week of grinding next week. Really want to get some of my materials out and done. So thanks for all that have been watching my shorts as well. That's been a really cool experiment. It's less about people watching it. It's more of my editing and trying to get better at it. So that's where in the shorts you'll see a little bit more of the creativity coming into it. So any feedback on those would be awesome. Not always hit. I mean, there's one that I did heaps of editing for. Barely anyone saw it. But I was very proud of it. So if you're interested for some quick snippets of my gameplay or just quick snippets of anything, most of it's in the clip show already, but they're more like watered down to like a minute or 30 seconds or whatever. So yeah, feel free to check it out and leave a comment and help me improve. And that's all this project is me trying to improve and get better every week. And I hope I can show that. I hope I am showing that. So yeah, until next week. Bye-bye. I mean, yeah, I think that's what I sometimes at least recognize that, you know, I'm not always the most interesting person to watch. I just like playing the game, and I figured, you know, I'm going to be doing this anyway, and the grind is pretty real, so I just stream it just for the hell of it.